In this episode of What's in a Story, we will be talking about One Piece and the Jujutsu Kaisen manga. Viewer discretion is advised. There will be spoilers.
Welcome back to What's in a Story, your one-stop shop for two random people critically assessing various forms of media and talking like we're actual experts. I'm Mega.
And I'm Phat.
And welcome to the show. Today's topic is what makes it good foreshadowing and why is foreshadowing useful?
In order to clearly show the positives and negatives of foreshadowing, we'll be looking at two series with quite a few examples of short and long-term foreshadowing. We'll be talking about One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen, starting with One Piece.
As a general rule, foreshadowing has to be paid off eventually. Small details that aren't paid off lead to an unsatisfying experience for both the reader and the viewer. In the cover page for chapter 668, there's a depiction of Ace in Whitebeard's graves. There is a crate with a bottle of sake and 3 sake cups on it. Later, in chapter 731, it is revealed that Luffy's other brother, Sabo, was still alive. This, compounded by the fact that the Revolutionary Army was at the Goa Kingdom, shows a clear intention from the author to reintroduce Sabo later. By providing small hints, Oda was able to both surprise the reader and make a believable twist.
In chapter 301, when Nico Robin is reading one of the poneglyphs, she states that there are two different kinds. Some have information, such as Joy Boy's message, the Mermaid Princess, while the others have locations leading to other poneglyphs. In chapter 818, it is finally revealed that there are a set of 4 red-colored poneglyphs that lead to the island where the One Piece is located, Laugh Tale. Robin telling the readers that there are 2 kinds of poneglyphs didn't specifically refer to the road poneglyphs, but simply by knowing that there are some that have location to another poneglyph makes the reveal of the road poneglyphs make a lot of sense and is expected with hindsight.
And now a message from our sponsor.
Tissues. Have you ever been crying and are like, I want something soft to wipe my eyes? Well, shucks, now you have something to wipe your eyes while you're crying that's soft. Tissues! You can use them. They're little pieces of paper that are nice and soft for your face, your baby soft face. You can wipe your eyes while crying after Jared just broke up with you and you're eating your ice cream and watching a movie on the couch, sobbing into your ice cream. Well, instead of putting your tears in the ice cream, put your tears in the tissues. With tissues. Yeah. Buy them. Use them. Tissues.
You didn't have to bring up Jared again. Don't sponsor us again, please. So this section of the podcast is going to be a little bit different, because we don't know if we're right. But this is foreshadowing, and this is one of the benefits. We're going to be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, specifically about a specific power that has been demonstrated twice, and may have something to do with what we heard earlier. So, early on in the series, after Yuji Itadori dies, of course, he is inside of his own head with Sukuna. And they create a binding vow, with the conditions being, when Sukuna says so, he will be released from inside for 1 minute. And that Itadori has to forget about the pact. And he will also swear not to kill or injure his friends. That is the pact. As far as we know, pacts don't have the ability to fulfill their own requirements. But after Sukuna beats Itadori, the pact goes into effect, and Itadori forgets about the pact. This is a classic example of mind manipulation or memory manipulation, which does seem to go in line with 2 events that we see later in the manga, in the anime. Would you like to discuss this, Phat?
Yeah, so first we have Todo, who is an interesting character who kind of overhypes certain things, but he has this fight with Yuji. And in the middle of it, he seems to switch perspectives of how he views Yuji instead of kind of just a comrade in the same job to a brother, where his mind seems to have shifted these memories, and memories are imported into his brain, where he has what he kind of describes as very real and has actually happened of Yuji and Toto having this very long history of playing baseball together, playing different games together, just being friends together, that never happened, as far as we know, as Toto and Yuji only met mere minutes ago.
And at first, when this happened, we attributed it as a weird quirk of Aoi Toto, because he is a very odd individual.
Over the top as well.
Yep. And it kind of seemed to fit his character.
Yeah.
And it was something that was in the back of a lot of theorists' minds, but nothing that really came into anything significant.
Your minds are just kind of played off as, oh, Toto's just being weird.
Until the Shibuya incident arc.
Yeah.
Where Yuji comes to blows with a cursed womb painting named Choso, who he has not personally dealt with, but Yuji is the one that killed killed one of his brothers and helped kill the other one. And during the fight, Choso gains the upper hand against Yuji. But after Yuji slips into unconsciousness, Choso happens to remember something. He starts remembering memories that weren't his own.
Yeah.
And this caused Choso to freak out and start remembering Yuji as one of his brothers. And it really messed with him. For a while, he had to leave and escape for a little bit. And then later on, he comes back and talks to Yuji as if they've been brothers forever. And that was the moment when readers realized that this was not a random event.
Yeah, this isn't just Choso being Choso like Toto was. This is a connected line where Sukuna is able to erase memories from Yuji. Toto has this interaction with Yuji where he has memories replaced. Choso has memories replaced with Yuji. It kind of seems to follow the line that Yuji may be able to import memories of them being friends so that the enemy doesn't really view Yuji as an enemy anymore.
And it goes in line with what was said by Gojo Satoru while training Yuji, where he said that Yuji would be able to get all of the curse techniques available to Sukuna. And if this memory manipulation is a technique that Sukuna has and is able to use, this memory manipulation could be the first curse technique that Yuji gains from Sukuna. And it completely changes Yuji's power set. It completely changes how we see Toto. Because for most of the series, we've just kind of thought that he was weird.
But he might not be.
No, he's definitely weird.
He's still weird, but he's definitely not as weird as we once thought.
So, foreshadowing can definitely be extraordinarily satisfying when it comes full circle. But when you don't know and you start getting these little hints, it makes the reader think a lot more. And it makes a lot of things more impactful than they would have been otherwise. So, in general, leaving small hints that could lead to something bigger is a good way of making an audience think.
Yeah, and theorize, which could lead them to reread, rewatch, ingest your media more and have it popularized more as these theories and possible foreshadowing blow up and become more popular, and this will draw new people in because they're like, ooh, I want to know how this interaction worked. Why is this happening?
But on the flip side, having a lot of pieces that can be used for foreshadowing can also cause readers to get a little bit too high in their expectations, which is not usually a good thing. But if foreshadowing is done and it's paid off, it is unbelievably satisfying for the people who thought about that and were right and made theories about it. People who had no idea, but read or watch previous sections and think, wait a minute, they mentioned something like that right here. Which makes foreshadowing an incredibly powerful, but also kind of risky tool for an author. So, foreshadowing can be used for good and bad. It can definitely help a series, it can hurt a series. If done well, there is nothing more satisfying for a viewer or a reader than predicting a theory.
And then paying off, and you get this great feeling of foreshadowing and just kind of being more connected to the story in a way with that. But if the author doesn't pay it off or goes a very different direction, it can be very disappointing for the reader who had all these ideas built up and they just don't pan out at all.
For example, if Usopp doesn't become God, Oda has ruined his story.
Yep. He is God Usopp.
It has been foreshadowed for a long time, ever since his birth, actually. And if Usopp is not God, first he has to slay Enel.
Yeah.
He has to straight up kill him. Take his throne on the moon and become God.
God Usopp.
And in case you don't understand the joke, we are joking.
This was a joke. Well, this Usopp part. Not the the Yuji thing.
Yeah, the Jujutsu Kaisen thing is fully, that is a theory that we believe. The Usopp thing is just a fact at this point, really.
Just a fact.
Yeah, it's just a fact. Yeah, Oda hasn't said it. He hasn't been
He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
We just know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's the longest playing foreshadowing in One Piece.
Exactly.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
One Piece likes to pan out foreshadowing, which Oda does very well, actually.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next episode.